Hello friends, today we start Standard 10 Maths, chapter number 15, Probability. Last year in Standard 9, you have studied probability, so you have a little bit idea about probability. But friends, in our day-to-day life, we don't distinguish between probability and possibility. So first of all, we try to clarify the difference between the words possibility and probability. Suppose I take you example. I, your sir, Yatin Bhau sir, and you people, the students of Standard 10. Suppose we arrange a running race and I say that I win the race, I got the gold medal. You will say, sir, it is impossible. Look at your body. You cannot run so fast. So, the statement which is given on the basis of facts, it is known as possibility. Then what is probability? I remember a very good poem in Gujarati. I studied it in Standard 9. It is somewhat like this. Far 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 challi phafdave dhudma paakh, prasari ne bag bese paakh potani saaf, ahi tahi dise dodta aab kaada, sakar jan kahe e vrishti na thai chada. The meaning is, when the sparrows flutters their wings in the soil, when the crane on the top of the trees sits with the wings wide open, when you see the clouds, black clouds moving here and there throughout the days, one can predict that it may rain. So the statement or the prediction that one can give on the basis of the experience, on the basis of the past knowledge, or on other basis, if somebody predicts something, then it is known as probability. So this is the basic difference between possibility and probability. So now in Standard 9, we learned probability and we gave the definition that probability is the degree of or measure of degree of uncertainty of the event to occur. That is your probability. Now, in Standard 9, whatever we studied as the probability, that was totally based on experiments. So, probability basically we divide into two categories. One is experimental. This we discuss first. Later on, I will go for the next category of probability. What is experimental probability? It is also known as empirical. Empirical probability. That means the results of occurrence of an event, it is totally done after performing an experiment. That is experimental probability. And the second type of probability is classical probability. Or it is also known as theoretical probability. So how the experimental probability is helpful to create the understanding of classical probability or theoretical probability, that we discuss now. In Standard 9, suppose we had the experiment that if I toss a coin 10 times, so total trials are 10. Out of them, head appears for 7 times and tail appears for 3 times. Total number of trials is 10. So now I want to go for the probability of occurrence of H. So on tossing a coin 10 times, what is the probability of occurrence of H? So I call it the name P of H. That is probability of appearing H on tossing a coin. It is done 10 times. So out of the 10, it is occurring 7 times. So 7 upon 10 is the probability of the event that H occurs. So you can say it is 0.7. In the same way, for the tail, I said P of T. Any name we can give. That is, out of the 10 times, it can occur 3 times. So it is 0.3. But remember, when I toss a coin, how many times H can occur? 1. or how many times tail can occur? 1. So both these events, they are equally likely to occur. That is why the value of occurrence of H, when we toss the coin once, it is 1 upon 2. In the same way, for the tail, if it is tossed once, it is also 1 upon 2. But it is not 1 upon 2, because the number of tossing are more. So practically we saw in standard 9 that if the number of trials are increased, 10 to hundreds, 100 to thousands, thousands to lakhs, then the occurrence of head go close to 1 upon 2. Occurrence of tail goes close to 1 upon 2. I talk about probability of occurrence of head goes close to 1 upon 2, and occurrence of the probability of occurrence of tail goes close to 1 upon 2. That means both the events, occurrence of head and occurrence of tail, they both are equally likely to occur. Okay? So on this base, we made the formula in standard 9 that what is probability P of E, any event is E. So what is the formula we made there? It is number of trials in which E occurs divided by total number of trials. Because why we use the word trial? Because we are doing actually the practical. Now as we have done the practicals and we came to know that both the events are likely to occur equally. That is why we made a theory out of it. And as a theory, we make the formula, the same formula, but now as the theory, how to use it? In the theoretical probability, it is somewhat like this. P of E is equal to, I change the word here, see. Here we have used trials because we have done the practical. But now, to occur the head or to occur the tail, they are called the outcomes of the experiment. So, number of outcomes which are favorable to E divided by total number of possible outcomes. Thing is the same, but this formula we use for the experimental probability and this formula we use for theoretical probability. Is that clear? So now in standard 10 we will mostly learn the theoretical probability. Okay? So now we take some examples. Suppose I take a coin, I toss it once only. So the outcome is either head or it is tail. H is head, T means tail. So what is the probability for occurrence of H? It is 1 upon 2. In the same way, probability of tail, occurrence of tail is again 1 upon 2. You can check here, in both this probability, a single outcome has been used. That is why such probability we will call elementary event. Elementary event. So tossing a coin is the experiment. Occurrence of head is an event. So here in this probability, the outcome is used only once. Only one outcome is used. So the event is known as elementary event. And you can check here, if I add both this probability, P of H plus P of T, it is 1/2 plus 1/2, answer is 2 upon 2 and is equal to 1. So this is the result, that in an experiment, the sum of all the probability of elementary events is always 1. Same thing we can discuss for another experiment. You must have played some games with the help of the dice. Dice contains the numbers from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the numbers. If you throw a dice once, then what is the probability that 1 appears? What is the probability that 2 appears? What is the probability for 3, for 4, for 5 and for 6? Suppose I give the names to the events. Suppose it is event A, it is event B, it is event C, it is event D, it is event E, it is event F. Then I can say P of A, that is probability of occurrence of event A. That is, out of the 6 outcomes, 1 time is possible. So it is 1 upon 6. In the same way, P of B, 2 can appear once only out of 6, again 1 upon 6. P of C, 1 upon 6. P of D, 1 upon 6. P of E, 1 upon 6. And P of F, that is occurrence of 6 on the top, it is also 1 upon 6. Now here, every probability takes only one outcomes. That is why all these events, they are also elementary events, as I told you before. But as you say that sum of the elementary events, it should come to 1. So let us check 1 upon 6 plus 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 1 upon 6. Total it is 6 upon 6, answer is 1. Is it clear? So ultimately one thing is clear, that sum of all probabilities of all the events which are elementary, it is always equal to 1. In both the cases we saw it. Okay? Now I slightly change the idea. Again the same experiment, tossing or throwing a dice. So there are 6 outcomes. Now the question is, what is the probability that the number appearing on the top is more than 4? Then more than 4 means which numbers appear? 5 and 6. So suppose I call it probability of A. The event is suppose A. Then P of A is equal to 5 and 6 are 2 numbers only. So 2 divided by 6, answer is 1 upon 3. Second thing I take, in the same, on throwing a dice once, what is the probability that number appearing on the top is 4 or less than 4? Less than or equal to 4. Then 4 or less than 4 means 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 outcomes. So it is, suppose P of B, it is 4 upon 6, answer is 2 upon 3. Now check, what is P of A? More than 4. What is P of B? 4 or less than 4 means not more than 4. So this P of B I also can be called as not P of A. Okay? It is P of A, the number appearing more than 4. Not P of A means number appearing 4 or less than 4. So both are, you can check, it is 1 upon 3 and 2 upon 3. Now I add these two. 1 upon 3 plus 2 upon 3 is equal to 3 upon 3. Answer is again 1. Now do you feel that this 2 upon 6, it is an elementary event? No, because the outcomes are more than 1. Do you feel 4 upon 6 is an elementary event? No, because outcome is more than 1. But then also the sum of the probability is coming to 1. Then what these two events should be called? They are called complementary events of each other. So the sum of two complementary, if A is the event, then probability of A plus probability of not A is always equal to 1. In these two cases you understood. For not A, there is a symbol given, P of A plus P of A complementary is always equal to 1. So suppose we have one number for one event of the probability of one event, then we can find the second probability as well. Remember, it is not so that there are two events only. There are many events, but remember here it is taking more than one outcome. It is taking more than one outcome. So no longer it is elementary event, but though the sum of these two is 1, they are not elementary, they are complementary events. Is it clear? We take one example for this complementary event. Suppose two friends, Ram and Shyam, they played a match. Now, the probability that the Ram wins the match is suppose 0.6. Then what is the probability that Shyam wins the match? So we know that only two events are there. So the total is going to be 1. So here I can say, suppose I give that P of R. That is the probability that Ram wins the match, it is given 0.6. And suppose it is P of S. That is, we want to find out. But as they are complementary events, the total is 1. So we can find out this way. We have this formula, P of R plus P of S is equal to 1. P of R is given 0.6 plus P of S is equal to 1. So P of S is equal to 1 minus 0.6. The answer is 0.4. So if we know one probability, then you can very easily find the another probability using this formula of complementary events. Is that clear? Now we go for the number, how to find out the outcomes. Suppose a coin is tossed once. Coin is tossed once only, one time only. So there are only two outcomes, H and T. Suppose now two coins are tossed simultaneously. Then what can be the outcomes? So what to do? H, T, T. Because you are tossing two coins together, and this result of the previous one, H, T, you join to it. So now there are four outcomes, HH, HT, TH and TT. Suppose three coins are tossed simultaneously, means all together, all the three at the same time, then what are the outcomes? Now we can know it is 3 times, so it is H, T, 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 T. 8 outcomes will be there. Why it is so? It is 1 coin tossed for 1 times, 2 raised to 1, 2 coins, 2 raised to 2, 3 coins, 2 raised to 3. 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 raised to 2 is 4, 2 raised to 3 is 8. So now in 8 what to do? I have written 4 times H and 4 times T, and this result of the previous one write 2 times, HH, HT, TH, TT. Again repeat, HH, HT, TH and TT. So these are the 8 outcomes when 3 coins are tossed simultaneously. Okay, so this is how it is very easy chapter to understand. In the next period, we will go for how to find out outcomes when 2 dice are thrown simultaneously. So thank you very much.